In his essay Imaginary Homelands, Salman Rushdie reflects on a photograph of a house in Bombay, a city he had not yet been born into, evoking a sense of nostalgia for a past he never experienced firsthand. This sentiment underscores the foreignness of his present existence, juxtaposed with the familiarity of a lost home in a lost city, submerged in the depths of time. His visit to Bombay later in life led to a profound discovery of his father's name and address, reinstating a sense of continuity with his distant past. This revelation spurred Rushdie's desire to reclaim his personal history, not merely as faded recollections, but in vivid detail similar to CinemaScope and Technicolor. Bombay, a city constructed by outsiders on reclaimed land, ignited in Rushdie a determination to reclaim his own city and heritage. Writers like Rushdie, whether exiled, emigrated, or expatriated, grapple with a pervasive sense of loss and an innate urge to reclaim what has been forfeited. However, the physical detachment from their homeland often means that the precise essence of what was lost remains unattainable. Consequently, they craft narratives that serve as surrogate homelands, intangible yet potent reflections of their longing. While penning his novel in North London, Rushdie confronted this dilemma head on, acknowledging the inherent limitations of his imaginative reconstruction. He imbued his protagonist Salim with fallibility, attributing errors in narration to the imperfections of memory and the nuances of individual character. His depiction of India was necessarily fragmentary, reflecting the fragmented nature of his own recollections. Rushdie explores the notion of broken mirrors in writing, emphasizing the significance of piecing together memories from disparate corners of India. These fragmented recollections acquire heightened resonance, transforming mundane details into symbolic artifacts imbued with a sense of the numinous. For writers displaced from their homeland and language, this sense of loss is magnified, compounded by physical and linguistic barriers that hinder their ability to rearticulate their experiences with precision. The palpable discontinuity of their existence serves to underscore the profound disconnect from their past, yet paradoxically empowers them to articulate universal themes with clarity and resonance. John Fowles' novel, Daniel Martin, opens with a profound statement: whole sight or all the rest is desolation. This declaration reflects the human condition, acknowledging that we perceive the world through fractured perceptions rather than complete wholes. Our understanding of reality is constructed from a patchwork of experiences, beliefs, traumas, media influences, and personal relationships. This precarious foundation of meaning often leads us to fiercely defend our viewpoints even in the face of contradictory evidence. Salman Rushdie shares the view that writers today are not revered as all knowing sages but are instead compelled by societal pressures to grapple with their personal histories and contemporary realities. He suggests that broken narratives like Shattered Glass can be as valuable as seamless ones in illuminating the complexities of human experience. The advent of modernism has challenged our perception of absolute truths, highlighting the provisional nature of all knowledge and the inherent uncertainties of existence. This recognition allows us to describe our world as we perceive it in our day to day lives. Rushdie employs the metaphor of a cinema screen to discuss the fluidity of perception, noting that narratives often become more fragmented as they approach contemporary events. For Indian writers residing in England, writing about their homeland from a distance adds another level of complexity to their storytelling. Reimagining the world through literature serves as a crucial first step toward effecting change, especially in contexts where the state manipulates reality to suit its agenda. The act of creating alternative realities through art, including the novel of memory, becomes inherently political. Writers and politicians natural adversaries vie for control over the narrative, seeking to shape the world according to their respective visions. The novel emerges as a powerful tool for challenging official narratives and asserting alternative truths. Rushdie offers examples of state sanctioned falsehoods such as the denial of atrocities during the Bangladesh Liberation War and the whitewashing of events during the Indian emergency. These instances underscore the importance of literature in exposing the gap between official accounts and lived experiences. However, he raises the question of whether writers situated outside of India have the legitimacy to engage in such political discourse or if they risk being perceived as mere dilettantes. Literature, Rushdie argues, validates itself through the quality of its content rather than the author's personal background or authority. While some works may arise directly from lived experiences, others achieve greatness through bold imaginative leaps. He contends that literature transcends boundaries of identity and ownership, and true artistic risk taking occurs when writers push the boundaries of what is deemed possible, even if it means risking failure. Rushdie's reflections on the role of literature in shaping perceptions of reality highlight the complex interplay between art, politics, and identity. Writers navigate the fractured landscape of memory and experience, using storytelling as a means of challenging official narratives and expanding the realm of possibility. Literature emerges as a potent force for interrogating truth, pushing the boundaries of unconventional thought and enriching our collective understanding of the world. Indian writers living in England have a unique heritage that grants them dual membership in both British society and their post diaspora community. They may perceive themselves as straddling two cultures or feeling caught between them, yet their geographical distance from India offers them fresh perspectives on reality, enabling them to explore new angles in their literature. Salman Rushdie's novel Midnight's Children adopts a secular viewpoint, reflecting the ideals of a generation of Indians committed to secularism. Rushdie values the non sectarian philosophy underlying Indian culture, which sees no hierarchy between Hindu and Islamic heritages. This ethos is particularly evident in Bombay, a cosmopolitan city where diverse faiths and cultures coexist, fostering a secular environment. Midnight's Children portrays India from a pessimistic point of view, but Rushdie does not view it as despairing or nihilistic. The narrative form, rich with its multitudinous possibilities, serves as an optimistic counterbalance to the personal tragedies experienced by the protagonist, Salim. The Indian writer community in England encompasses a diverse range of backgrounds, including political exiles, first generation migrants, affluent expatriates, naturalized Britons, and individuals born in the UK with no direct connection to the subcontinent. Despite this diversity, Indo British fiction emerges not only from Indian cities like Delhi or Bombay, but also from English locales like London, Birmingham, and Yorkshire. Rushdie highlights the evolving relationship between English and Indian literature, arguing for the remaking of English to suit the purposes of Indian writers. He contends that British Indian writers cannot reject English as it is often their children's first language and crucial to forging a British Indian identity. Rushdie addresses the ongoing challenges of defining Indianness outside of India, preserving culture without stagnation, and navigating the influence of Western ideas and practices. These questions ultimately boil down to an existential query: how should we navigate life in a globalized world? Drawing from personal experience, Rushdie reflects on his upbringing in England, steeped in a nostalgic vision of a quintessentially English lifestyle. Despite his gratitude for the opportunities afforded to him in England, he acknowledges the complexities of navigating his dual identity and the privileges associated with his social class, fair complexion, and English accent. Rushdie also delves into the relationship between Indian writers and the predominantly white British culture in which they reside. He critiques the persistence of romanticized views of English society, arguing that simplistic black and white descriptions are inadequate. Instead, he advocates for a blending of fantasy and naturalism as a means of grappling with societal complexities. Indian writers in England, like other migrants, possess a unique perspective characterized by a dual insider outsider status within society. This stereoscopic vision, born from their hybrid identity, offers a nuanced lens through which to explore themes of belonging, identity, and cultural integration. Rushdie warns against adopting a narrow mindset that isolates individuals within their own cultural enclave, a phenomenon he terms homeland, similar to internal exile in South Africa. They argue against creating British Indian literary equivalents merely to uphold a virtuous form of exile. Instead, Rushdie advocates for writing that resonates with both the intended audience who share the depicted experiences and a broader readership. This approach echoes sentiments expressed by Black American writer Ralph Ellison, who treasures his identity but seeks to bridge connections between his community and the wider world. Art flourishes when the imagination is unrestricted. Western writers have long embraced eclectic themes, settings, and forms, and Indian writers in England draw from a rich tradition shaped by migration, displacement, and minority experiences. They inherit a legacy that includes the Huguenots, Irish, Jews, and the broader history of immigrant Britain. As global writers, Rushdie encourages embracing diverse literary influences from Gogol and Cervantes to Kafka and Melville. They assert that this freedom to select literary ancestors is a privilege of the literary migrant. For instance, Saul Bellow's novel The Dean's December illustrates the universality of human experiences through the protagonist's empathy with the barking dog. Rushdie identifies with the dog's frustration and longing, recognizing them as shared sentiments among readers.